if one was to recall what we've established in the past two sessions on how to learn, it's that learning is truly continuous and broad, and that attitude is at the very core of how one reacts towards a potential learning curve. It's time for Motivation Monday with author of a book titled There Are No Secrets to Success and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo. You are more than welcome to join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212. Our SMS line is 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. Mr. Mamabolo, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Have you been well?
I've been well. How have you been?
I'm well. Have you been learning anything? We spoke about learning about our cultures, and you promised that, particularly at the end of the series, you'll tell us what you've learned about the history of the continent and all the works. Have you been adding anything other than that, or you don't want to overwhelm yourself?
Yes, I've also added, because I usually study multiple subjects at a time.
Okay.
Because now I'm studying African history, and simultaneously, so I've also been studying hermeneutics. And hermeneutics is basically the study of how do you interpret texts, whether it's the Bible or even the African, historic documents. Yeah, so those are the things that I've been learning.
And attitude, do you find that the subjects that you develop an interest to learn about because you heard other people speak about and you were fascinated and you developed a positive outlook on those, or what is the story exactly behind your developing an interest in deciding to study something or learn? Let's rather say learn something.
Like I shared last time, what usually motivates me would be the purpose that I'm studying that particular subject. Now, for example, when I decided that I'm going to study African history, it was me trying to discover who am I, where do I come from, where does my family come from? Because I hear stories, when you are attending weddings and you hear your uncles and your grandpa, great grandfathers, they will be telling you that no, we as the Mamabolos, we come from Zimbabwe, but from Zimbabwe, where do we come from besides Zimbabwe? So it was that fascination to try to discover where am I, where would my relatives be? Am I maybe being prejudicial or being racist towards certain culture or homophobic towards particular cultures? Where is we are relatives? So it was that quest that drove me to studying African literature. Now, when it comes to hermeneutics, it was me saying that, I'm sick and tired of hearing, I don't want to use this word. I was tired of hearing this misinterpretations of scripture that I said, I want to develop, if I'm going to say that I'm a spiritual person, I want to discover God for myself.
Okay.
Now, that's when I discovered the study of hermeneutics. That's when I said, no, let me study this particular field.
Okay. Let's make sure we help people diversify their options of what they could possibly learn about. What should one learn about?
Yes. And as we are continuing this, I would like to share a story that I heard. This is a very fascinating story. It's been said that there used to be this old man who used to own his own farm. Now, what happened in this farm? He owned a chicken farm. Now, in this chicken farm that he owned a lot of chickens. So one day, while he was busy with his chickens, while he was feeding them, he saw a very interesting bird. He didn't know what that particular bird was, but he knew that this was not a chicken. When he looked at the way it was formed, its wings, he discovered that no, this is not a chicken. But you know what? Because it's a bird, let me just raise my chickens with this particular bird. And he went on raising that particular bird, and he discovered while the chicken was evolving and growing, he discovered that no, this is actually not a chicken, but it's an eagle. And one day, one zoologist was passing by his chicken farm looking for some chickens to buy. And that zoologist saw that, no, man, that's not a chicken. And he said to the farmer, do you know what that is? The farmer said, no, this is my chicken. The zoologist said, no, that's not a chicken. That's an eagle. You know that one day that eagle will discover himself. One day that eagle will manifest itself. Then the farmer disagreed and said, you know what? It's been so many years that I've been raising this eagle as a chicken. It's eaten chicken food. It's been raised up like chickens. It will never ever discover its full potential as an eagle. Then the zoologist said, one day One day, just watch out. So one day, as the farmer was busy with his chickens, one eagle flew above and it gave those eagle sounds. And when that eagle that was behaving like a chicken, that was raised like a chicken, when that eagle heard those calls, his full potential, he discovered who he was, and he was able to spread his wings and fly. Now, in the same way, it's the way you and I would be in terms of learning. Some of us, we've learned some things which are not good for us, but we might think because we've been raised this way, we've been raised with this particular information, told that something is not supposed to be done this way. That does not mean that you and I don't have the potential to change. You and I have got the potential to change, and as we are changing, or as we are working on learning, there are some things that I've discovered that we need to learn. The first thing would be, you and I need to learn about our history. When we study our history, we get to know who we are. When you discover your history, like we said last time, you might get there might be some issues that you might encounter as you are proceeding with your life. For example, health. You might come across that sometime you might have some health complications. Now, when you go to the doctor, they might ask you, what's your family history? They might want to know that, do these complications that you have, are they inherited genetically or so? Now, when you've discovered your history, of when you've learned about your history, then you can know, oh yes, this has come up in my family. Then they know, how do you deal with those issues. Another area that we need to study, it's ourselves. It's not enough to hear people say that, Rebecca, you are capable of achieving 1, 2, 3, 4. You yourself, you need to go and study yourself, get to know that this is me, this is what I am capable of, and this maybe are my limits. Another one would even be money. When you and I study money, we get to know how to manage our finances well. It's not good for you and I to earn money but not know how do you manage money. Now, when you are learning about money, not only will you learn how to make money, you'll also learn how to keep and how to grow your money. Another area would be leadership. And when we come to leadership, you don't study leadership because maybe you've been given a leadership position. Now, when I started studying leadership, I didn't want to become a leader. I just said I wanted to be a better father. I wanted to be a better husband or a better boyfriend one day. Now, what I discovered was that as I was studying leadership and while I was developing myself and growing as a leader, the other areas of my life also improved. Now, when you are studying leadership, you are also helping. One day you will become a father, one day you will become a mother, or you're already a mother, or you're already a father. When you are studying that leadership, when you know how to lead, you effectively know how to lead your family, how to even lead whatever area that you are in. Another one would be spirituality. It's not enough for you and I to hold on to maybe some of the indoctrinations that we have had. Like myself, I grew up in a very religious home, and I used to be a person who was intolerant. I was intolerant of other people's beliefs because I thought that my beliefs were superior. I thought that whatever it is that I believe, but as I have grown, I realized that no, it does not matter if someone prays like me, if they believe in the same way that I do believe, but I need to change my attitude. So you also need to learn study spirituality, get to know and get to understand what other people are believing. How do they believe? How they are different. Someone does not believe differently because maybe your beliefs are better, but it's what they've discovered. They've encountered their God in a particular way. Another area would be psychology. Get to understand the way you behave. What's motivating what you are doing? What's motivating the actions that are leading you to make particular decisions in your life? Now, when you study psychology, you get to understand your mind, how it operates, and what even influences you, and what the decisions that you've been making. Another area would be health. When you are studying or when you are learning about health, you get to understand your body. You get to understand what are some of the things that are good for me. What types of food should I be eating? What types of food shouldn't I be eating? What things should I be doing with my body that will help me to live a longer life so that I'll be able to accomplish or achieve those dreams that I have? And the last area would be relationships. How you and I relate with other people. It's not enough for you to say that I know Rebecca. You need to know, how do you relate? How do you better the relationship that you have with those around you? How do you better your relationships with your colleagues at work? How do you better the relationships that you have with even your family? Now, when we study these areas, it's not only this area. There might be other areas that maybe you want to study. Go ahead and study those particular areas so that whatever, you become a holistic person who is rich in knowledge, and you are able to adapt to whatever is changing in the environment.
We've spoken about the importance of a good attitude towards learning from just about everyone and every sphere of life. And now I would imagine that you've given everyone options on what to really think about when they think about how to learn. We'll talk about what to unlearn and what to then relearn as we continue with our Motivation Monday session with author of motivational books such as one titled There Are No Secrets to Success and life coach Ebenezer Ebenezer Mamabolo. You can join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212. Our SMS line is 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. Also, you can give us a call as we continue with this conversation after the break.
Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
The time is 18 minutes past 8. This is Conversations on Energy FM 102.1 and Choice FM 101.1. I'm in conversation with author of motivational books and life coach Ebenezer Mamabolo as we're discussing how to learn. And this is a third part of a series that we started a while ago. And we're talking about how to learn, really. You can join us in this conversation. Our WhatsApp text line is 079-295-1212, 079-295-1212. Our SMS line is 47861. That's 47861. Start each SMS with the short code EFM, and each SMS is charged at R1.50. And this is how you can give us a call.
Have your say. Call us now on 015-151-1058.
So we had a huge debate last week on this very session when you gave an example about mathematics.
Yes.
And said that it's actually not as difficult as it's made out to be.
Yes.
And what we established, I think I said that even in the preamble, is that it's important, it would seem from what you've shared, that one needs to first understand what they think about learning a particular subject.
Yes,
not just in the formal education sector. Even with finances, we spoke about finances, we spoke about relationships and all of that. So if one already has concluded in their mind that relationships are hard, that's an attitude.
Yes.
Mathematics is hard. That is an attitude.
Yes.
You've spoken about areas that one should consider learning about and into. Let's talk about what everyone should unlearn.
You know, what I've discovered is that, and this is what I discovered with myself, because there used to be, like I said, there used to be some areas that I said that, no, these are my beliefs. I believe that this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how you pray to a particular God. This is how you're supposed to conduct yourself. And what I discovered was that those beliefs that I had, which I thought were true, later on I discovered that they were not true. They were even making other people resist me, because the way I looked down upon them, the way I looked down upon their beliefs, they made others to look at me and say that, no, that guy I don't want to even be around. Now, when you and I have got things that are holding us back, that are stopping us from learning from each other, or that are stopping us from living together in harmony with each other, we get to a point where people don't even like to be in our presence. Now, there are some areas that I've discovered that we need to learn. The first area would be the hatred that we have for each other, whether it's black on black hatred, whether it's black on white hatred, or whatever race you might want to. We need to unlearn how we are hating each other. Yes, there might be some history that's stopping us from actually having good relationships, but that's not an excuse for us to continually have this hate. I like what one author said. He said that, I think it was Nelson Mandela, he said that hate is too heavy a burden for you and I to carry. And as South Africans, as we want to have the rainbow nation, we cannot have rainbow nations when we are hating each other. It does not matter what's happening between us, but let's get to unite. Let's unlearn how we hate each other. Another area that we need to unlearn would be the biases that we might have of each other. Whether I believe the same things that you believe in, whether I pray the way you pray, whether the lifestyle that you've chosen or the lifestyle that you are living, whether I agree with it or I don't agree with it, it does not matter. What really matters is that we will be living together in harmony. So whatever biases that you might have, whether you might be having those biases against a particular culture, against a particular race, whatever, unlearn those negative things. They are not building us as a nation, but they are destroying us and they are making us hate each other. Another area would be the intolerance that we have of each other. Whatever is happening or whatever has happened in our past or even in our future, we need to unlearn the intolerance that we have of each other. Whether it's intolerance based on gender, it does not matter. We need to learn that, as human beings, we are together. We are created in the same image and the image of our Creator. Whether I am from Zimbabwe or I'm from Uganda or I'm from Malawi, we are all equal in whatever whatever differences we might have, we need to learn to live with each other. We need to learn to I like what also Nelson Mandela said. He said that it does not matter. This is an ideal which I am prepared to die. The unity of Africa, the unity of Africans uniting together. This is a purpose that he, as Nelson Mandela said, I am willing to die for. Even us as the upcoming generation, or even as the older generation and even future generations, we need to learn to live together in harmony.
Do you find, and would you say, that bias is in fact breeding ground for jealousy and the many other ills that grow over time about a person?
Yes, because when I start looking at you and I start discriminating on maybe one particular thing, I would say that no, I don't like you because maybe you are white, or I don't like you because you are black and you've got this particular hairstyle. No, that does not matter. When you've got that, then tomorrow I will not be able to appreciate you. When you are doing something excellent at work, or when you are doing something excellent wherever you are, I would say that no, Rebecca, no, remember that I don't like Rebecca because of 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's make sure that the biases that we have, let's unlearn those things so that we'll be able to love each other and to be able to celebrate each other.
All right. Now, as many will be attempting to unlearn issues such as bias towards others, what should everyone relearn?
The first thing, we need to relearn how to love one another. It does not matter if it's male loving a female, even as brothers, even as sisters, even as a community. The first thing that we need to relearn is to love one another. It does not matter what our differences would be. I'm even reminded of, sometimes you find that when you are growing up, you just know that these neighbors of mine, I don't talk to them. You don't even know what happened between them and your family. You don't even know what happened between you maybe and the past families, but you just learn hating your neighbors. You might find that you don't even greet your neighbors. We need to relearn how to love one another. When we are loving one another, tomorrow when I've got problems or when I've got issues, then I can lean on you as my neighbor and say, my friend, I've got this issue, I've got these issues that are troubling me. Would you mind lending me an ear and being my comfort? We need to relearn how to love one another. Another area, we need to relearn how we relate with ourselves. It's not enough for you and I to learn how to relate with each other, but we need to learn how do we know ourselves. We need to relearn how to know ourselves. It's not enough for someone to tell me that no, you are capable of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you are capable of achieving 6, 7, 8. You need to come to grips with you learning how do you know yourself. Don't just hear what people say you are capable of. Don't just lean on to what people are saying that this is what's possible for you. Get to understand and relearn how to know yourself. Another area, how to think better and correctly. It's not enough for you to say that no, I was told that I am unable to learn. Like we said, there are some beliefs that you and I need to give up, and one of those beliefs, once we've given up those beliefs, we need to learn that no, there are better ways of thinking. There are certain ways and thinking practices that we need to learn, and next week we'll dive deeper into these practices. But for now, learn to how do you think. Whatever challenges that you might have in your life, I've discovered that when you are encountering a challenge, what would make you a winner, what would make you a conqueror in the particular challenge that you are facing, it's the meaning that you have towards that challenge you have. Whatever it is that you are encountering with your life, whatever challenges that you might be even challenging the way you think about yourself, the way you might think about others, the way you might even think about particular races, learn to change, learn to relearn how you are thinking, and make sure that you adopt thinking practices that would be healthy. Another area would be how you see yourself. It does not matter how others see you. It does not matter how maybe your past teachers might have seen you. It does not matter what maybe one community leader might have seen you. Yes, someone might have said to you, no, you are stupid, you are unable to do this. But know that you are capable of achieving more than someone might have said. You are more than able to achieve maybe what one preacher or one community leader might have said. You are capable of achieving whatever it is that you set your mind to, as long as you are willing to put in the work, as long as you are willing to pay the price that you are supposed to pay for you to become that particular person. So realize that no, you need to relearn how you see yourself. Appreciate. It does not matter, even maybe if whoever might say that no, you are ugly because of this. As long as you change, you relearn how you see yourself. As long as you relearn how do you love yourself, then tomorrow when I see you in a negative manner or in a negative eye, you know that no, I have learned to love myself. I have learned to see myself better than I am.
I think we've established that it seems individuals and people to some extent battle with a lot of these challenges of what to learn, what kind of outlook to have about others and about life because of unconscious bias.
Yes.
Because you've been conditioned to believe certain things about people. You've been conditioned to believe certain things about let's give an example of beauty. You find that when you speak of, particularly with young women, you hear that young women will be dieting, depriving themselves of food because they've been told that for you to be considered beautiful, you have to be slim. That's just an example that we're giving. How does one really deal with that, having been conditioned? Because it's one thing for us to say that you need to do better, you need to learn to love yourself better, you need to learn to love others holistically and all of that. But at the back of their head, they're still thinking, I don't know if I can do that if I've always been told that I'm not beautiful if I'm big, or I'm not... It's a lot of things, honestly. It is a lot of things. I'm not beautiful if I have dark skin. Today, the discussion of racism has again come to the fore. My hair is not beautiful. People even call it bad hair day. If it's in its natural state, I must relax it and all of that. It's unconscious bias that has been conditioned into people.
Yes.
How do you unlearn that?
The first thing is that we need to acknowledge that what I have learned about myself, what I have learned about others, it's not right, it's not correct. Now, when you are acknowledging that no, what I have been taught to believe about myself is not correct, then the first step would be, now that I know that what I'm thinking or what I gravitate towards when it comes to relating to others, it's incorrect. Then have the attitude to say that no, whatever truth might be, I acknowledge that the truth that I think that is truth, it's not truth. I am willing to discover truth. Now, when you've got that, when you've changed your attitude towards what you've been conditioned, then now you are open. And I like what one author said. He says that if you are going to argue for your limitations, then you get to keep those limitations that you are arguing for. Now, when you've acknowledged that no, what I have learned about myself, what I have learned about others is incorrect, then when you change your attitude, or when you are willing to change your outlook, when you get an idea, or when someone shares with you an idea about your beauty and how beautiful you are, irrespective of which criteria someone might be using to evaluate or assess you, then you know that no, I have understood and I have acknowledged. Now I know that whatever this particular person is saying about me, or even this unconscious beliefs that I might be tempted to think about the way I look, I know that they are untrue. And when you acknowledge that they are untrue, then you are opening yourself up to learn. And even when you get others, or when also open yourself up for learning. If you've got some beliefs that you want to get rid of, make sure that you associate or you read content or you absorb content that will change or disrupt those negative beliefs and biases that you might have.
All right. Our quote of the week?
Our quote of the week comes from Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee said that a teacher must never impose his students to his favorite pattern. A good teacher protects his pupils from his own influence, and a teacher is never a giver of truth. He is a guide, a pointer of truth that each student must find out for themselves.
I think we've also learned that we need to know when it's our time, and our time is up, and make way for Matumo Manaka, who's coming up next. Kindly share your contact details that we make way.
Okay, my contact details when you are booking me as a coach and a speaker, contact me on 071-639-7807. And when you are on social media, just search for Ebenezer Mamabolo.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mamabolo. Our next appointment is next week. Coming up next is Matumo Manaka. A big thank you goes to Mami Morasha, our content producer, and Emmanuel Kwinda, our technical producer. I am Rebecca Phala. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay learning, and good night.